Tom Shivers here. In the last video, 8 Steps to Juicy Homegrown Tomatoes, you got an outline of the proven steps Ernie uses to grow highly productive tomato plants year after year. For some people, that's all you needed to know. For example, the Ghetto Man 1 made this comment on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for sending me this video. Thumbs up. Now I've got ideas how to tweak how I've been growing tomatoes. Can't wait to see the next video. Come on, spring. LOL. We're in the home stretch now. Another interesting comment was from Ethereal Yoga. You have a great channel. You helped us with our over-watering symptoms last summer. Thanks. Well, thanks again to everyone who emailed me their questions about growing tomatoes and those who posted so many positive comments about the video, subscribed, liked it, and shared it. Thanks for all the great response. By the way, if you missed the last 2 videos, there will be a link to them on this page. Or, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find them in our channel. 8 Steps to Juicy Homegrown Tomatoes and Growing Highly Productive Tomato Plants. In this video, Ernie will be answering a question that lots of people are asking right now. So let's get to it.
Welcome to Ernie's Homegrown Tomatoes, an online class that teaches how to grow and harvest better tomatoes from your own garden at growtomatoestoday.com. My name is Tom. I'm here with Ernie Shivers. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. You okay?
Yeah, doing good.
Good.
Today we're talking about when to plant your tomatoes. And we've seen some common questions about this issue. So when is the best time to plant tomato seeds?
All right. We talk about indoors or outdoors?
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, let's just start with indoors. Of course, it depends on where you live, but the general rule is the time to start your seeds indoors is about 6 to 8 weeks before the last expected spring frost in your area. Now, that's going to vary, of course. Now, on the seed packet, the little paper container pocket that has the seeds inside, usually has a map of the United States and has the time zones, or not the time zones, but the planting zones showed on it. For instance, I'm just out of Atlanta, near Stone Mountain. In my area is the red zone, and the planting time there is April to July. So that's generally true. I usually plant about the middle of April. Now, the same thing holds true with buying plants at the nursery and transplanting them outdoors. You still want to wait until the all danger of frost or freeze is gone, and your temperature is up above 55, maybe 65, 70. And so those are generally the times to plant seeds or plants.
Yeah, you're referring to the USDA hardiness zone map that is right on the back of plant containers. Seed packets.
Yeah, that's right.
And okay, well, yeah, and so here's an interesting kind of a question, and it'd be interesting to see how you handle this one. This guy says, I'm growing tomato plants from scratch outside. It's going to be 34 degrees tonight, and I'm afraid it's going to get too cold for them. However, I do not want to bring them into a warm house since it might get too warm for them. I'm waiting till the latter part of March to plant them. It was around 68 degrees in the daytime, and I'm going to put them in my car to try to protect them. Will that be okay? Should I cover them down?
Well, I would suggest that this person follow the guidelines which we spoke on previously. Plant your if you got your plants ready to go outside, wait until the temperatures are going to be above 55 degrees day and night. Now, And like we said, it's going to vary from one section of the country to another. And like I said, in my section, which would be the red zone, you plant between April and July, and I usually plant around April the 15th.
Okay.
But about putting them in the car, I don't think anything is gained by planting them in cold weather. Of course, planting them outside in cold weather is a no-no. I mean, you could cover them, or what are you going to do unless you have them in a hot house? But just planting them out in the cold ground is not, you're not going to gain anything. At least that's my experience, by putting seeds in a cold ground. It is best to wait until the ground is warm and your temperatures are, like we said, 55 degrees or above. And then water your seed or your plants, and then they will come along. The warm weather will bring them right along and grow very well.
Okay, great. Here's another one. I live in north central Texas. We're having some unusually cold weather right now, snow even. I planted a garden with tomatoes, squash, okra, and other things. What should I use to cover from the freeze?
Well, this person has already planted. We can't warn them about the cold weather, but anyway, it depends on how many you got to cover. If you just got 3 or 4 plants, you can cover them with a bucket or a basket, something like that, and you have to weight them down so the wind won't blow them blow them over. You can weight them down with a brick, a heavy rock, or something like that. Now, if you got a 10 or 12 foot row, say, you can make a little tent to go over the, drive a stake at each end of your row, and put a little wire from one stake to the other, and then cover that whole area with a little cloth or plastic, something like that, and then weight those down with rocks or dirt. Then the only thing about it, if the temperature is cold at night and it's going to be up 60 to 70 degrees the next day, you're going to have to go out and uncover those plants because the heat will cause them to wither and probably die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just for a night covering.
That's right. Right. Particularly, excuse me, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I've seen where you can buy for small plants or seedling plants. Typically, you can buy little glass coverings that you just put over the top of them overnight, and they're heavy enough to stay down. I can't recall where you can get those, but anyway.
Well, I have seen people use something like a fruit jar, a clear glass fruit jar.
Uh-huh.
And when the plant is very small, that's right, then force it into the ground over the plant.
Okay.
But there again, you need to remove that to keep heat from getting too warm inside.
Yeah, you can't forget about that one the next day.
That's right. They'll be wilted.
Well, very good. What question about planting should tomato gardeners be asking?
Well, let's see. We talked before about the decisions that need to be made before you plant. You think we ought to go over those?
No. This is just, I think, about anything that might be useful in terms of when to plant your tomato plants, because I think a lot of people, as soon as it starts getting warm, they think it's time to get out, and you kind of answered that one. And it sounded to me like the soil temperature is what you're trying to go after rather than the air temperature.
That's correct. It's really both, but anyway, the soil temperature is primary, because if you put a plant in cold soil, it's going to be, even if the temperature gets up a little bit, if the soil is cold, it's going to be slow growing, developing. And I found that you can wait until the soil has warmed up, put your plants out, that you're at least even or maybe ahead of those who planted the tomato plants in cold soil. So the temperature of the soil is primary, yes.
You know, I know that some serious farmers and vegetable gardeners, they have what's called a greenhouse or a high tunnel that they get their plants started in early because they can control the temperature inside there, or at least the sunlight keeps it warm enough so that they can plant earlier than most people do.
Right. Yeah. Most of those will have temperature controls, and so they do have they can plant early and bring those plants along with the warm temperature inside the glass house or plastic house, either one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, also, I thought I might put a link somewhere on the blog page here to the USDA hardiness zone finder for the different regions in the U.S. Might be useful for some people. So I'll put that on here somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
That should be helpful.
Did you find that useful? I hope so. We've enjoyed sharing these videos with you over the past several days, but when the tomato growing season starts here shortly, Ernie will be devoting his time to the members of his online class. Ernie's Homegrown Tomatoes is the first and only online class designed to help people all over the U.S. grow highly productive tomato plants today. Ernie's Homegrown Tomatoes is composed of videos, interviews, and information that contain the steps and secrets to growing highly productive tomato plants. It was our idea that the steps and secrets which Ernie uses to produce bountiful tomatoes every year ought to be available to people who do not have time to investigate how to grow tomatoes. Ernie believes that his success can be duplicated by anyone who truly wants to grow tomatoes and get great results. He wants others to experience the same joy he has, and he loves helping families to produce good food right out of their own garden. That's why Ernie's Homegrown Tomatoes exist today.
Now, I have had a part in creating this Ernie's Homegrown Tomatoes, and it came from basically back when I was a boy growing up here. You had a garden here every summer, and we had so many tomatoes that I ended up eating a plate of tomatoes every day, and I just loved them. I mean, every summer I was, looked forward to the tomatoes. So then later, I went off to school, and then later bought a house, my first house, and got married and had a family. And suddenly it dawned on me, what about those nice summer tomatoes? I wanted some because you go to the store, you don't get them there. I knew I had to grow them, so I put some plants out a couple of years ago, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I thought, you just put the plant in the ground, right, and water it. Well, it just didn't work. So I couldn't remember all of these steps that you have done year in and year out. So I called you up and said, hey, how do I plant these tomatoes for the next season? So the next year, last year, I planted, 4 or 5 tomato plants and just had some great results because I followed your 8-step plan and it worked. And we had quite a few tomatoes. I don't remember how many, but we got a lot of them.
In a few days, I'll be sending you an email about the details of the class and how to reserve your spot for this season. So, give me the best email address and I'll send you the details about becoming a member of Ernie's Homegrown Tomatoes. There's a place to subscribe with your email on this page. If you're watching this on a site other than growtomatoestoday.com, you can go there to subscribe, or you can email me, tom@growtomatoestoday.com. If you have a question or something to say about growing tomatoes, leave it in the comments. See you soon.